Is there anyone in here who grew up religious but is not religious anymore? You're at the right show. All right, of those people, who saved people? Who spread the good news while they were religious? Ooh, bit of a drop off there. That's tough. A lot of us didn't do the homework. You saved people while you're religious, but you're not religious anymore? Okay. Do you ever feel, serious question, do you ever feel like maybe you should, call those people? Just a courtesy call, like, hey, remember what I told you about forever? Oh, I don't know. What if those people get up to heaven and they're like, look, your sponsor's not in there, so we didn't know you were coming. I don't know. Are you sure? Maybe they Holy Ghosted you. We're sorry. For real, though, you got to go to hell. We're sorry about that. I never saved anybody at all. I was talking to someone who grew up Mormon. I was like, well, you guys were really saving people. And he was like, oh, yeah, baptism for the dead. You guys know what that is? I didn't know. Apparently, in Mormonism, sometimes they will save people after they've died, which really takes the pressure off of saving live people, doesn't it? When you can just go, hey, do you believe in God? And they're like, no. And you're like, that's okay. We'll wait. And then as soon as they're dead, you're like, bibbity-boppity Mormon. This is how you get a soul to heaven, right? Like you're trying to get poop smell out of your hinge date's bathroom. If you're not laughing, you're married, and fuck you, this joke's not for you. Enjoy shitting with the door open. Some of us have to carry matches everywhere. Death has propelled me professionally. It's made me sort of a workaholic, probably. I was doing 2 full-time jobs for the last couple of years. I was touring, doing stand-up on the weekends, and then I was hosting a late-night show called After Midnight during the week. Oh, thank you. Thank you, that's very nice. Great experience, learned so much, worked with great people. I had an assistant on set, which I initially did not want. It is a slippery slope having someone whose whole job is to fetch you snacks, okay? Because day one, you're like, could I borrow a phone charger? Next thing you know, you're like, could I just grab a LaCroix? Before you know it, you're like, could you just hold both my hands until I fall asleep? My assistant's name was Molly. Molly was incredible. Molly was so good at her job, I'm definitely going to die alone now because the standard of care in relationships is now Molly. All right? Here's how good Molly was at her job. My first day on the Paramount lot, I drive into the lot, I park in a reserved parking spot for me, and there's a big bush that's sort of growing in to the driver's side door, right? Nothing crazy, just enough to make it kind of hard to shimmy out, right? There's a few bees buzzing around, so I kind of did one of those before I was like, hey, nice to meet you, Molly. That's all that happened. I didn't complain about the bush. I didn't report the bush to anyone. Molly just witnessed the bush touch me a little. I drive onto the lot the next day, park in my spot, and the bush was gone. And I went, Molly, did you have them cut down this bush? And she goes, yep, and I had them spray for bees. And I went, okay, no one fuck with Molly. She had that bush whacked, literally. I couldn't talk casual shit around her. I didn't know what she would do. I couldn't come in on a Tuesday like Dave's kind of bugging me today, because I'd come in Wednesday like, hey, where's Dave? He's with the bees, Taylor. You flinched in his presence, so I took care of it. It's my first time I'd ever had a corporate. Part about being single, hands down, is that you do not have to introduce anybody to your parents. Have you guys introduced people you were dating to your parents? It's not about introducing people you love to one another, is it? No. It's about showing your partner why you're mean to them sometimes. It's about taking your sexual partner back to the scene of the crime. To say, see, the stories are true. Because you don't want your partner to like your parents. You want them to walk out of that night going, oh my God. Your parents are just, I know. I mean, seriously, babe, how did you ever? I don't know. Kind of seems like maybe people should cut me some slack when I'm being a bitch, though, huh? kind of seems like maybe now that we have all the information, turns out I could be a lot crazier if I wanted. But I keep a lid on it pretty good, and I deserve to stop at Target on the way home. With no time limit. And I want a cart, not a basket. You have to be careful when you introduce people to your parents, though, because your parents don't always show up as your parents, do they? Mine never did. My parents undermined me every single time I brought someone home to meet them. I did everything right. I did the huddle up in the car before we went in, like, hey, remember what I told you? Those people in there, they're not your friends. Whatever they say to you, do not take that personally. It's not about you, it's about them. Do you want to write that on your hand in case you forget? No? You can look at my tattoo if you get scared. Let's do it. And then you go inside prepared for your parents to show their true colors. And your parents float downstairs. And they're just amazing all night. They're like fun, cool, laid back. Your dad's in an open Hawaiian shirt. Just a one-man conga line, topping off drinks, saying all kinds of progressive shit you've never heard him say. You want another beer? We should golf sometime. What are your pronouns again? And you gotta get back in the car later muttering like a conspiracy theorist. Like, well, I was there and I know what happened and it was all right. And no one can tell me what didn't happen and I know where it is. Well, your boyfriend buckles up like, I don't know what you're talking about, babe. Your parents are awesome. And you're like, oh, no, they are not. I don't know who those lizard people were. But they are not the ones who broke me. And the next time you see your parents, they're all smug, like, Jason really seemed to like us. You're like, I know what you're doing. Oh, maybe your therapist wants to meet us next, get our side of the story. I cannot wait till you're in the ground. All right, well, we'd like to be cremated. I will scatter your ashes where God can't find them. I will see you both at Easter. He came out, he goes, thought he found a new angle, right? He comes out, he goes, you know, we always kind of rush through the Christmas story, don't we? Since we all know it so well. But if you ever really stop to think about what this must have been like for Mary, and all the women were like, oh, and all the men were like, no. Which one's Mary again? Oh, are you talking about the vessel? You talking about the hole we put the Lord in? You talking about the Jesus jar? You talking about the Christ cubby? You talking about the Savior sack? You talking about the prophet pocket? We could keep going, but we have to move on. But that's a fun game to play to come down from the cousin fight, if you want. That Mary POV sermon went over so well for him that he came out the next year all excited. Like last year we talked about what it must have been like for Mary to find out she was pregnant with Jesus. But have you ever stopped to think about what this must have been like for Joseph? And all the men were like, finally! Representation! I also think whores are lying to me! Joseph was Mary's betrothed at the time. Again, I don't assume everybody knows all the Bible stories. You grew up in church, you're like, everybody's learning these. Nope, some kids were having childhoods on their bikes. Yeah. Is there anyone in here who never went to church, has never believed in God, never been religious at all? Wow, all in the back. That checks out. That checks out. Well, you sound very at peace. You sound so relaxed, but how do you know right from wrong? How do you not kill people? Some Christians talk like that. My dad growing up was like, you know, if I weren't a Christian, I'd be in jail. And I'm like, whoa, I'm 6. Let's do Goodnight Moon tomorrow instead of Dad's Dark Thoughts. Some Christians walk around like, yeah, if Sky Dad didn't have me on house arrest, there'd be some mud on my boots. And you're like, cool, let's only hang out in groups. But if you didn't grow up in church, you might not know a lot of Bible stories. You might not know any Bible stories. I won't put you on the spot, don't worry. I used to learn my lesson. One time I asked someone and they panicked and went, VeggieTales! My favorite thing about being on a network TV show is that they would bleep all the bad words and cut some of the more raunchy stuff, which means that my religious grandparents could watch the show and it wouldn't hurt their ears as much as my stand-up does. Not to say that my grandparents aren't supportive. They really are. I think that they're doing a really good job trying to understand where their liberal, agnostic grandkids are coming from. I can't stand it when people are too hard on their grandparents. If your grandparents are trying to understand you, you got to give them some grace if they mess up here and there terms-wise. When people are like, oh, well, my grandma cannot remember my pronouns. I'm like, does your grandma remember her address? Grandma's got bigger fish to fry. The light is coming. Also, do you know how old your grandma is? I don't. Mine's been 62 for 40 years. Also, you're taking more pictures of your grandparents than you ever have before, and they've got to know why, and that can't feel good. My grandparents are the best example I have in my life of Christianity done right. They're very loving, forgiving, non-judgmental people. But my siblings and I are all agnostic because we didn't grow up with that type of Christianity. We grew up in our scary Christian house. And when you grow up with something that hurts you as a kid, you don't really want it in your Barbie dream house as a grown-up, right? I also don't wear belts or use wooden spoons. That's not a coincidence. Oh, thank God. We were all lightly abused. Again, did that joke in Sweden, thought they were gonna call somebody. There's nothing worse than admitting to a room full of people that you got hit when they got tucked in at night. It is humiliating. No, I don't keep anything in my house that hurt me as a kid. No Bibles, no belts, no bridge to Terabithia. I'm hoping the author sees this and writes me a personalized apology. I do think that when you grow up in a scary religious environment, you spend a lot of your young adulthood untangling who you are from who they wanted you to be. Like, I just came out. That's why we're in therapy. People are scared to go to therapy because they think it's someone sitting in a chair going, you suck. But it's not. It's you in a chair going, I suck. And then your therapist is like, that's great. Let's start there. Therapy just helps you get to the bottom of why you're trash, okay? You go into therapy and you're like, here's all the stuff that sucks about me. And she goes, okay. And she puts it all up on the wall like you're solving a crime together. Fun! And then she gets some of that red string that detectives use at home when they've been thrown off the case for going rogue. And she starts connecting each crappy thing about you to each one of your corresponding childhood traumas. And you're like, oh my God, that's why I'm like this. And she's like, that's why you're like this. And you're like, am I fixed now? And she's like, God, no. No. You're like, well, what do I do now? She's like, well, you keep coming back in here every week with your credit card. And you're like, what? Well, will I ever be fixed? She's like, I don't know. Bring your credit card. I've gotten to the bottom of a lot of stuff in therapy. I'm an emotional eater. I don't know if anybody else identifies with that. Cool, 7 people. Everyone else is like, no, we just eat till we're almost full, and then we thank God for the opportunity, okay? Food is just fuel for me. If you're one of those, fuck right off, for real. I'll refund your money. I don't need your support. I'm doing fine. If you don't know what an emotional eater is, it just means you eat to cope with uncomfortable feelings. So if I'm sad or anxious or awake, I'd like to be eating to take the edge off. If you still don't know if that's you, you can ask yourself a few questions to find out. Number 1, when you eat nachos in public, do you get kind of mad that other people are there to see it? Do you feel like nachos should come with a privacy curtain? I do. Have all the best meals of your life taken place in your own car around 11 p.m. under a flickering street lamp? Have you ever eaten a brownie while you felt okay and wished you were sad so that it tasted better? Sounds like more than 7 of us. I got back into therapy. Anybody in therapy? Mostly women. That's the problem. It's very hard to say in therapy. My old therapist told me that when I get close to people, I have a tendency to self-sabotage. And I thought that was bullshit, so I ghosted her. And then I finally went back because I finally dated enough people who all gave me the exact same feedback about my shitty personality. You know that romantic quota you hit where you're like, uh-oh, might be me. Oh, the reviews are in and they are unanimous. That's a bummer. So after a really bad breakup a few years ago, I finally took a long, hard look at myself and said, okay, Taylor, 5 out of 5 dudes all think that in fights, you behave like a raccoon trapped in a trash bag. So maybe it's time to get some Klonopin or a rabies shot. I am fully medicated now. Anybody else? Antidepressants? Medication? Yeah. Nice. What are we on? Shout it out. Zoloft, Lexapro. Ooh. Look at us. Gang's all here. Oh my God. I'm also on something. I would never say what. That's very personal, but... No, I'm kidding. I'm on a few things. I am on Klonopin as needed for panic attacks. I'm so glad I have Klonopin now, because before I had medication for it, I would have panic attacks right when I had to be somewhere, which is the worst time to get them, because then you just have to pinch the panic attack off like a shit you don't have time to take. You know what I mean? When you're like, okay, I got 60% of that out of my system. I'm not done, but I gotta go to work. I will get to the other 40 later, or I'll finish in the big stall at lunch if no one's in there. I got put on something else for sleep because I have night terrors. There's no fun, casual way to say that. Wake up screaming. And these sleeping time pills I got are great. They don't stop the nightmares, but they do hold you down while they're happening. Which sounds bad, but before I'd wake up in the middle, so afraid, and now I stay asleep until the nightmare's natural conclusion, which provides you with some closure. You're like, oh, he stabs me at the end. Okay, plot twist, M. Nightmare Shyamalan. I think the biggest difference between having sex with men and women is when you're having sex with a woman, you're there the whole time. You know? Because you know how with a man you can kind of just like... Not in a traumatic way, just in like a, oh, I'm in the back seat on a road trip, forgot my headphones, let's look at clouds. Huh? I did. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Oh my God, yes. A big one. A huge, big, quiet, but big. It's just silent but deadly. I love those. Thank you so much. I've never faked an orgasm because I think our generation got enough participation trophies, but I don't judge you if you have to. We've all been there, right? When it's going too long. If you want to fake an orgasm, here's a little tip from me to you. Just hold your breath for as long as you can. Because then when you're like, it'll seem like you came when really you just came up for air. That's how you get rid of hiccups and Jeremy. With the guy she's dating. I was like, really? She goes, yeah, would you ever have a threesome? I was like, oh my God, no. I don't even want to hang out with 2 other people. I've never been in the middle seat on a flight fighting for an armrest, like, wish we were all naked. That would be cool. I don't even think I could date an extrovert again. I dated an extrovert once. We moved in together. The first week we lived together, he's like, hey, what if we had some people over? I was like, look, if you don't want to be with me, just say so. You want to have people over what? My dead body? If you're an extrovert and you're in love with an introvert, you gotta understand, asking us to invite people over is like asking us to do anal. Watch our face change. Like, I'm sorry, is it your birthday? Seems like a big ask for a random Tuesday. I live alone now. It's incredible. I fall asleep in the middle of the bed like a boy king, just like, good night, Joffrey. It's fantastic. I eat all the food I buy. Every grocery I buy, it goes it goes bad. That's power, DC. Yeah. If I clog the toilet at home, I don't have to deal with it right away. That's freedom, DC. When I lived with a man I was attracted to, I was always like, no, please, toilet, don't tell him I'm a human woman. I beg of you. Take my dark secrets to your watery grave. Remember our bargain. Now I'm like, you loser, toilet. That's what lids are for. You want to see the sky. Do your job. I was so afraid of being single all throughout my 20s. I was terrified. I realized in therapy that because my mom died young, I have this irrational belief that I am also going to die young. So I've been living in a very intense, unhealthy way my entire adult life where I'm like, I can't take a break. I got to be working all the time. I have to hit these goals and achievements. Otherwise, I'm nothing. I got engaged a few years ago because I was like, I got to get married before I'm dead, which is a super hot way to propose to somebody. I call it the walk to remember. It's kind of my move. And it did not work out with my ex-fiance. I hate that I have to say that word now. It sounds like a spell, doesn't it? Just like, ex-fiance! It's terrible. He and I are not friends, not because he's a bad person. He's actually a very good person. I don't know if you've ever dated someone right before they find out they're bipolar, but it is what is known as the Lord's work. I think I was a great partner if nothing went wrong. If nothing went wrong, I was like, awesome. But if one thing went wrong, total nightmare. Like, I was like those spikes you drive over when you're returning a rental car. Like, as long as you keep moving forward, everything's great. But if you back up even a little, I will slash all your tires. And then be like, what? I put up a sign. And you're like, I know I messed up a little, but like this reaction seems like other speed bumps don't react like that. And I'm like, then go be with her! We are not friends, my ex-fiance and I, because I think it's weird when exes try to be friends with each other and they're like, we'll hang out, we'll get froyo. You're like, froyo? I know what you taste like. I'm not gonna sample yogurt with you, you psycho. Do they have Kevin after a run? Do they have that flavor at Yogurtland? They do. It's salted caramel. But still. I went back home after I called off my engagement for whatever holiday doesn't offend you. And a lot of my friends are settling down. Some of them are just settling, period. End of sentence. You guys know those couples? Everyone knows one couple like that, where like one person in the couple is way hotter and cooler than the other person in the couple. I like to call those couples chocolate-covered raisins. Because you're like, sure, you could put those two together if you want. But every time you see them, you're like, chocolate, what are you doing? You could have been with anybody. You could have been with caramel. You could have been with marshmallow. You could have been with peanut butter, who I heard cures depression. And you want to be with raisin forever? Like, no offense, raisin. You're great. We love you. Nature's candy. That's you. But you belong with, like, oatmeal. Like, you know that, right? This doesn't feel good, right? Aren't you scared every day that someone's gonna come along and suck chocolate right off of you? I love this joke. It's like to feel couples in the audience looking at each other like, am I chocolate or raisin? We're both chocolate, right, babe? We're chocolate-covered chocolate. We're like those little Lindorf guys in the foil, you know? I'm the creamy part and you're the shell because you're so strong, and if you leave me, I'll be a mess. Some of you are like, I am oatmeal and I am good with it. I made the mistake of talking to my happiest married friend. But because I grew up in church, I see Bible stories everywhere, right? Like, here's some fun ones. What about the 200 foreskin story? Do you know that one? Yeah? That's a deep cut. So, In the Bible, David wanted to marry Saul's daughter, and Saul's like, you can marry my daughter if you bring me back the foreskins of 100 of my enemies, which like, whoa, Scorpio, am I right? Who has 100 enemies and is thinking about their foreskins? Like, someone was born in deep November. So Saul's like, get me 100 foreskins, then we'll talk. So David goes out, comes back with 200 foreskins, and that's where the phrase, if he wanted to, he would, ladies, comes from. Yeah. That's not from TikTok, that's from the Bible. What about Job? Have we heard of Job? Job? Got some Job heads in the house? Job was this guy in the Bible. He loved God so much. One day, God and Satan are talking. They don't really get into why they're talking, but, sometimes you call your ex and everyone's like, what are you doing, right? So God and Satan are kicking it for some reason. And Satan goes, hey, God, I noticed that Job loves you a lot. And God's like, yeah. And Satan's like, well, I bet he wouldn't love you as much if I fucked with him enough. And God's like, okay, I'm bored. Let's see what you got. So Satan goes out and he ruins Job's life. But Job never forsakes God. And that is what How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is based off of. Matthew McConaughey is Job. Kate Hudson is Satan. I have to be honest, my career is going very well right now. This is the last night of the biggest tour I've ever done. I am filming my third Netflix special tonight, and recently someone was using my name and photos on a dating app. It was me. I was doing it. Went through a breakup, got on a dating app. Why? Because my married friends told me to. If you're single, your married friends don't want you to be happy. They don't. They want you on those apps because the apps look fun and they can't go on them. So they want to stand behind you like a kid at an arcade with no fucking quarters while you fight for your life out there. They're like, go left, go right, go left, go right. You're like, do you want to play? They're like, more than anything. But I have the high score, so it wouldn't be fair. Your married friends don't want more married friends. Nobody wants more married friends. I'm sorry if you're married, and I know you're up front because two-income household. Nobody wants more married friends, okay? Because your life updates are boring. I'm happy you're settled. Good for you. You know who has fun life updates? Your single friends, because we're out there in the trenches making mistakes named Trevor, usually. Have you asked your married friends what they did over the weekend? You're like, what'd you guys do this weekend? They're like, I know, just woke up next to my soulmate again. Then you ask your single friend, you're like, what'd you do this weekend? They're like, I woke up in a shallow grave. You're like, why are you proud of that? Did you have sex in a grave? They're like, why do you think we dug the grave? Do you guys have that one single friend who thinks she's really hot and fun, but she's actually just in constant danger all the time? That one girl, every time she tells you a dating story, you're like, oh my God, okay. No, we're not judging, but maybe just share your location with us indefinitely. I have one friend like that. Every week she tells me the scariest stories I've ever heard in my life. Just like, I had the hottest date Friday, Taylor. I'm making out with this guy at a bar, so sexy. Takes my hand, he's like, let me show you something. Pulls me back through the kitchen, into the back alley, pulls out his huge gun. Points it right at my face, like, give me your phone, your keys, and your wallet. I'm like, okay, kinky, I'll try anything once, right? He hits me in the head. I wake up 30 minutes later, alone in a puddle. I have to hitchhike home. Oh my God, I am such a Samantha. And they're like, okay, we think you got mugged, babe. We think... She's like, mugged? Oh my God, you're such a prude, Taylor. He's gonna call me. He has my phone. Seriously, you'll meet him. He took my breath away. We're like, no, he knocked the wind out of you. Your friends always say the dumbest shit when you go through a breakup, trying to be helpful, right? Like, well, why don't you just date yourself? Because you told me not to settle. What the fuck? I can do better than me. Why can't you just be single for a year? Why can't you go for a walk without headphones? Because you'll think about death the whole time. Exactly. Thank you for coming to this. You did not have to. AI is getting pretty good. It is. It's getting way too good. I don't trust it. My iPhone started capitalizing the G in God again without asking me. Did that happen to anyone else? Yeah, I don't know which update it was, but all of a sudden my iPhone's like, did you mean King of Kings? The robots are coming and they love the Lord. Are you guys worried about the robots? You concerned? Yeah. Have you looked at the people in your life, your friends, your family, and then back at yourself and gone, uh-oh? I have a friend who said they knew Prodigal Son, and I go, oh, you know the story? And they're like, oh, no, I just think there was like a show or something. I've heard the term, right? If you don't know the story of the Prodigal Son, it's a story that Jesus teaches, tells in the Bible to teach a lesson, right? So in the story, there's a rich dad, and he's got two sons, and the older son does everything right because he's the oldest, and the younger son is like, I want my money now. And the dad's like, okay, that's not how inheritance works. I'm fully alive, but here you go. So he gives the younger son his money. Then this piece of shit fucks right off. Did I mention I'm the oldest of four? This piece of shit fucks right off. And how do they put it? Squanders his wealth on wild living, which is Bible for blows it all on Bitcoin and lap dances. He then has the audacity to come back years later, like, sorry, Dad. I lost all your money. I suck. Can I come back? And the older son was probably like, yeah, finally, finish him. And the dad goes, my baby's home. Oh my God, let's throw him a big party. I know all the oldest kids in here. We all have diarrhea right now. I know every oldest kid in here. Your asshole went all the way inside your body. You're so upset. Just remember, these are people from the Bible. They can't hurt you. They've been dead a long time, okay? We're almost done. So the older son is obviously pissed. He's like, Dad, what? I've done everything right my whole life, and you've never even thrown me a small party. Look it up. He says that. And the dad is like, yeah, you're great. Love you. But your brother, he was lost, and now he's found. So we celebrate. And if you ask a pastor what that story is about, they will tell you that it's about how you can go off and live in sin and lose your way spiritually, but you can always return to the Lord and he'll forgive you. And if you ask me what that story is about, I will tell you that it is about how Jesus was an only child. In therapy, I figured out the day in my childhood I became an emotional eater. I was 8 years old and I was eating a bagel in the kitchen, and my dad came in and he goes, you're going to want to put that bagel down. I got to tell you something. And that's when he told me that my mom had died. So somewhere in my brain, something clicked like, oh, when you stop eating bread, people perish. I went back to 4th grade like the angel of death. Everyone's like, step on a crack, break your mother's back. I'm like, stop eating bread, now your mom's dead, dude. They left out that second part, but I had a list when I was 8. I tell you guys that because no one told me. They pulled me aside a year later at school. Someone's like, Taylor, your teacher thinks you might be struggling with a speech impediment. I'm like, what's a speech impediment? Are you sure you have the right person? Because I'm crushing it out there. And they're like, you didn't do anything wrong. You pronounce your words a little differently. Like you say sh instead of s for your S's. Does that make sense? And I was like, I'm pretty sure I would have noticed if I said sh instead of sh. Hope you find who you're looking for. If you have any follow-up questions, I'll be on the seesaw. I know dead mom jokes make people uncomfortable. I know that. And if you are uncomfortable, I don't know what to say. You should have worked harder, so it was you up here. No, honestly, I never want to make people feel uncomfortable with that information. So much so that I used to lie to everybody growing up. I used to tell everybody that my parents were separated so I wouldn't have to say my mom's dead. And that worked very well until recently a friend of mine found out I had lied, and she was very upset. She was like, your mom's dead? Taylor, you told me your parents were separated. And I was like, well, they were. By Jesus. Both her parents are alive, so she has no idea how funny that is, but she'll get it eventually, right? Like, that joke is a slow burn. Kind of like cancer, which is what got mine. Hey-o! Okay, all right. Oh. So, here's the deal, Boston. We have another, 6 minutes of dead mom jokes. I know, you're getting oh no, 6 minutes, that's a long time. It won't feel long. I've cushioned her, all right? I have laid my dead mom to rest in a beautiful casket of dick jokes and pop culture references. There's something for everybody over the next 6 minutes. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll forget she's dead. But I know a lot's happening for you as a crowd right now, because you're like, Taylor, we're good people. Good people wouldn't laugh at dead mom jokes. I'm here to tell you that if you're trying to be a good person at a comedy show, you're wasting your goddamn time. Trying to be a good person at a comedy show is like trying to recycle at a theme park. You're already in here and part of the problem. Put your hands up and have fun. And I know you're good people. You're like, Taylor, we've known you for 25 minutes. We hate that anything bad ever happened to you even once. Thank you so much, Boston. But what you have to understand is the bad thing already happened. And now I'm talking about it into a microphone in front of people who paid to be here. Which means now the bad thing is money. Do you think I'd be this successful at my age if I had a live mom? No. I'd be a creative writing teacher who loved myself, and I'd be sitting in the dark with you peasants, okay? She's in heaven. I'm on Netflix. It all worked out. That is a real thing I said in therapy. To which my therapist responded, you should come in twice this week. Some people get sad because I was 8 when it happened, but 8 is a great time to lose a parent because you're so stupid. You barely know what's going on. I do like having sex with men sometimes. I will say, does anyone like sucking dick for real? Does anyone really? Yeah, oh wow, good for you. Just a quiet hand raise. That's beautiful. That's so nice. Wow, heroes among us. Good for you. Sucking dick the way I like going for a run. I'm proud of myself after. But during, I'm always like, why'd I do this? I didn't have to do this. There's other ways to get where I'm going. But then afterwards, I'm always like, wow, the power of the human spirit. Really is all mind over matter out there. But then during, I'm like, people should be throwing little cups of water on me for being so brave. But then afterwards, I'm like, nice. Got my time down. We're trying to get faster, not better. I remember I was so scared to start going down on women. And then I went down on a girl for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, that was so much better. I was so mad at my whole life. I was like, you're telling me this whole time I could have been licking ice creams, and instead I've been swallowing swords? Could have been living like a child on the boardwalk. Instead I've been living like a carny with something to prove. Not that I'm like killing it at queer dating. It's always awkward getting into a new relationship, though, especially right after you've called off an engagement, because you don't feel like you can say any cheesy romantic crap ever again. Even if you feel it, you just feel like you're a jinx. So when the next person's like, I want to be with you forever, you're like, oh, wouldn't that be something? I can't use the F word anymore, but I just need to build my credit back up. But samesies, bro, for sure. New relationships are awkward because you got to tell a whole new person what you like in bed. And the only reason you know what you like in bed is because someone else did it to you first. But you can't say it like that, right? You got to do that cute little tap dance of like, oh, babe, you know what would be so fun? That's never even occurred to me before. You know what your body is inspiring me to do right now? But in your head, you're just like, do it like Craig. Could you just do it how Craig did it every time? Craig didn't do shit right. He did that right, let me tell you. Can we just call him? Can we just call him and ask? It's not a big deal. We're all adults here. Remember when we reset the Wi-Fi router last month? It's just like that, babe. He's just a voice on the phone with the password. That's all he is to me now. No, I did block his number when you asked me to. Of course I did. But when you block a number, your phone kind of just saves it in a different folder. Ooh, some of us are going to fight in the car. Not everybody knew that. You have to be able to talk about what you like in bed, and you have to know what you can and can't say, all right? Like, I've been telling guys for years, I like it a little rougher in bed. I don't say it like that. I say like, oh, I'm damaged, you know? Like, if you're a straight guy, don't say that. If a straight dude's like, I'm damaged, fucking run! That guy wants your toes in a baggie, so... Sometimes you think you like something and you don't. I thought I liked dirty talk. Turns out I just like dirty phrases we agreed upon earlier. You ever tell someone you like dirty talk and then they hit you with something in bed and you're like, nah, that was not approved by corporate. No. I was having sex with a guy once. I was on top and he just went, look at you! Like I was taking my first steps. I'm like, you better get the camcorder, daddy, because I am never getting up here again. You know, anytime I wasn't actively yearning for it, of course. Oh, good, some depression in the room, thank God. I did that joke in Sweden, they just stared at me. They were like, huh? Sad for no reason? But how? They didn't get it. A lot of this hour, Europe didn't get. They were like, God, we have healthcare. They give you God instead of healthcare? That doesn't seem like the same thing. If you have depression, you have a pretty complicated relationship with death. You sort of look at death like it's the Phantom of the Opera. Most of the time, you're like, oh, that's scary. But then sometimes you're like, I mean, that side of his face is kind of hot. Hear me out. I could live underground. I don't know. This section is sad. I've been trying to face my fear of death head on this past year. I wrote a will because a lot of my friends were getting married, and I was like, I want to sign a scary document. I learned so much. If you don't have a will, you got to write one with a professional. That panicked note you write on your phone during turbulence, that will not hold up in court. They taught me that. I thought for sure that was fine. Nope. Here's what I learned. I did not know this. If you die unexpectedly, your closest living relatives are your parents, not your siblings, which is what I thought because I'm dumb. So if you die unexpectedly, your parents will inherit everything you own, unless you disinherit them in writing like the petty bitch you are, right? And I know some of you are sitting there right now going, well, whatever. I don't have a good relationship with my parents, Taylor, but I don't really have anything for them to inherit. Do you have a TV? Do you think your shitty dad deserves an extra TV? You think your death should feel like winning the Price is Right for him? Fuck that. Call a lawyer. For work, he and I have very similar jobs. We're both out here on the weekends, changing lives. No, he hates it when I say that. He hates it so much. I'm always trying to talk shop with him. I'm like, hey, Jim, how was your early show? He's like, you know, it's first service, Taylor. I'm like, well, I just noticed you had a heckler on the late one. He goes, that person was yelling amen and hallelujah to agree. I'm like, that's the worst kind of heckler, Jim, because they're being supportive, but they're still disrupting your flow, right? I go, you know, I donate 10% of what I make, too. He's like, to who? I'm like, my agent, but it's still a tithe. I'm like, I'm kidding, Jim. I know we don't do the same thing. But think about this. I make them feel guilty Saturday night. You save their ass Sunday morning. I set them up. You spike the ball. You're welcome. I helped. But my Uncle Jim's like a great pastor. He's like very progressive. He gives really interesting sermons. We didn't have a cool pastor like my Uncle Jim growing up. All Gen Z, they're all queer, they're all in serious relationships, and they are all so disappointed in me every time I start dating another straight white guy. They're like, come on, Taylor, fuck the patriarchy. I'm like, you guys, I'm literally fucking the patriarchy. Do you know how hard it is to continue dating straight men when you are surrounded by 3 queer relationships up close? Queer relationships are the most beautiful, thoughtful, creative things I've ever seen in my life. My sister and her partner are in a romance novel. Every time I talk to them, I'm like, hey, I know you had a hard week at work. You doing okay? And she's like, yeah, I did. So to cheer me up, my partner got me my favorite snack in a limited edition flavor. They got me a little vial of sand from the beach we went to on our first date. And you know how I always wanted an easy bake oven growing up and never got it? They found one on eBay. I'm like, oh my God, are they cheating on you? She's like, what? No, they just listen to me when I talk and remember things I say. And I'm like, what? No, go through their phone. This shit stinks. Go through their phone, trust me. She's like, okay, how are you and your boyfriend doing, Taylor? I'm like, oh, we're good. My boyfriend bought me a hot dog because he wanted one, and I was there too. You had to be there. It was so romantic. He was like, what? Sorry, too, I guess. I don't mean to shit on straight guys. You're very sweet. I've dated a lot of you, but oh my God, you are so proud of yourselves for almost nothing in a relationship. It is impressive to watch. Honestly, a straight man will put a candle in his bathroom and be like, I changed my whole life for you. And you're like, you didn't even light it, man. It kind of smells like lavender if you get down real close. I'd trade this candle for a slice of empathy, if I'm being honest with you. Have you tried to explain the concept of empathy to a tall, handsome white guy? That is a delicate conversation. You're like, okay, imagine that you're me. But I'm not. Okay. Hard to argue. Touché. Imagine that you feel how I feel, but I don't. Okay. Imagine that you could feel how I feel. I never will. Okay. Imagine you're a basketball player. Okay. What else? I like this game. Fine. All right. So in this analogy, you're a basketball player. And you're a really great teammate. How about that? You love your team, you're loyal to your team, you do everything for your team, and your team is not noticing. Your team is not appreciating you for all you do, for the MVP that you are. And this week, your team forgot your birthday. Now, how does that make you feel? That sucks. Yes. Try and get a hot guy to empathize is like trying to get a woman to come. They're like, nobody move! We're so close. It's a car alarm. It's a car alarm. Stay focused, please. Work so hard. So anyway, I've been trying to figure out if I'm bisexual or if I just job. So I got HR training. I've never had that before. There's no HR in stand-up comedy. It's the opposite, in fact. They're like, are you harassing people? Great job. Start a podcast. It was fun, that HR training. I learned a lot. Did you know we're allowed to fuck people at work? Did you know that? Well, people from work. You got to take them somewhere else. But I thought everyone at work was off limits romantically. Now, according to Jill from HR, she's like, no, you can date. You just have to tell us if you are. And I go, oh, because then you'll tell our like higher up bosses. And then she goes, no, you just have to tell us. And I was like, who are these sick little freaks in HR who are like, no, you can fuck each other. You just have to tell us everything. Was it good? Do you have photos for the PowerPoint? That PowerPoint was fun. The one where they go through all the different scenarios, ask you, is this appropriate or inappropriate? Spoiler alert, they're all inappropriate. I didn't know that. I thought they were supposed to inspire conversation and debate. No, they're all a pretty clear thumbs down if you know what you're doing. I had my own private HR training, probably because they knew I was the weakest link on set. So they did it during my hair and makeup. So it was me, Deb, and Havana who did my hair and makeup for the show. Jill is going through all the different scenarios, right? She goes, all right, scenario number 1. Kyle tells Sharon on her birthday, doesn't matter how old you get, I would still be down. And he winks at her. Is that appropriate? And we were like, do you have a picture of Kyle? Is it the next slide? How tall is Kyle? What's he smell like? What's he working with? How old's Sharon? Is she ovulating? We don't have enough information to answer the prompt, so chill. But this last breakup was different for me because this was the first breakup I had gone through since I got on Netflix. And before I was on Netflix, every time I went through a breakup, my friends were very supportive. Like, we're so sorry, we're here for you, it'll get better. Then I got on Netflix and I went through a breakup, and all my friends were like, well, I mean, you have your dream job. So, yeah, all my friends looked at my sad face and went, you can't have it all, bitch. All of them. And I was so offended. And then I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, you know what? I don't want anybody to have it all either. None of us do. It's why they keep putting out Marilyn Monroe documentaries where they're like, she's actually pretty sad. And we're like, yeah, she fucking was. Nobody wants anybody to have it all. If someone has their soulmate, you don't want them to have their dream job too. If someone has their dream job, they don't get to be in love on top of that. If someone has their dream job and their soulmate, bare minimum, their parents better be divorced. I'd prefer they were an orphan. Nobody wants anybody to have it all. When I was a kid, I didn't think you could have it all. When I was a kid, I thought you either got to be hot or have a good personality. I thought that's how people were divided. I thought life was fair. And that got me through a lot of ugly years as a child where I'm like, it's okay that I'm not more symmetrical because I have this great, awesome personality that will surely reveal itself any day now. It's coming with my period and my Hogwarts letter. I can feel it. And that got me all the way to 6th grade when I met my friend Krista, and she was pretty and funny and smart and nice. And that's when I stopped believing in God. But so many of my friends said a version of this to me after my last breakup that I actually started to feel really guilty. Because you know what, DC? This is my dream job. I can't believe I'm filming my 3rd Netflix special tonight. I cannot. Been so insanely lucky in my career. And the more I thought about that, the more I was like, yeah, Taylor, nobody has every single thing going for them as a person. You have been so blessed. Be grateful for what you have. Focus on that. Nobody gets to have it all. And then I saw Hugh Jackman in person. And I was like, oh, I guess you can have it all, but there's none left because God gave it all to you. Hugh Jackman is a perfect specimen of a human man. Seeing him in person was a religious experience. It changed me. It was like seeing the Grand Canyon. I think everyone should do it at least once before they die. He is a wonder of the world, that man. It was like seeing Niagara Falls. You can bring the whole family, you get a little wet, but it's fun. It was. Here's what happened. So about a year and a half ago, we were in New York City doing shows on tour, and we had an off night in between theater shows. So me and my buddy Dustin and his wife Melissa and a few of our other friends who are also happy went to go see The Music Man on Broadway, which was starring Hugh Jackman. Was it a good show? I don't know, but Hugh Jackman was there the whole time. They should have called the show, We Got Hugh Jackman in a Room. Who wants to see him? The show was great. At the end of the show, they're doing curtain calls. All the actors are taking their bows. One of the actors steps forward and goes, you've come on a very special week because tonight we're raising money for an amazing charity called Broadway Cares. And tonight, Hugh is going to sign the pair of gloves he wore in the show. And we're going to auction them off to the highest bidder. And I looked at my friends and I was like, I mean, I have money. And they were like, really? This is what you're going to spend the Netflix money on, huh? And I was like, well, I don't have a family. There's no one else here, and I've already had braces. If I can't have it all, I'm going to have those gloves. Also, I just thought it would be hilarious as a bit because everybody asks you when you get on television, they're like, what'd you spend that money on? Did you buy a new jacket? Did you buy a new car? And I'm like, how funny would it be if my first big TV purchase was a pair of sweaty gloves worn by Wolverine, right? It's like, what am I, a man? So dumb. So I start competing in the auction, and I'm doing pretty well because I got nothing to lose and no one to live for. And I'm doing so well that it gets down to me and just 2 other bidders. It gets down to me, an older woman towards the front, and I kid you not, Jake from State Farm. That is 100% true, that detail, and I hesitate to include it because it makes the story sound like a dream I had once. He's like, so in the dream, I'm trying to get Hugh Jackman's gloves. But then Jake from State Farm's there. He thinks he's going to get them. I'm like, fat chance, commercial boy. Those gloves are mine. Then Flo from Progressive rides in on a horse for some reason. But whoops, who's that? Tony the Tiger pops a wheelie on his motorbike. All cash offer. Can't be Tony. That's old money. So it is now down to me, this woman, and Jake. I think what happened next was, I think Jake could tell that me and this woman needed the win more than he did. So, like a good neighbor, State Farm backs out. It is now down to me and this woman. We are ping-ponging back and forth, back and forth. I think I blacked out for a minute because when I came to, we were at a number that I've not agreed to pay since college. So exactly like college, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I'm not gonna finish. As they're about to say, once, twice, sold, the woman in the front, Hugh Jackman, steps forward, stops the auctioneer, and goes, Before we end the auction, I just have to say, I am so moved by the generosity of tonight's audience. You know, I have 2 gloves. If I were to sign both of them, would these 2 ladies match each other's bid? And he looked right at me. Now, I've never paid for sex. But I did drop $7,000 on eye contact with Hugh Jackman. Thank you for clapping. That joke was expensive. They're like, don't worry, it's a tax write-off. I'm like, don't worry, I will make sure that it is. I wish I could tell you that the whole time I was like, it's for charity. But the truth is, I completely forgot till the end. And even then, I was like barely listening. I was too busy talking to the glove, like, Hugh's fingers were inside you. What was that like? He's surprisingly gentle. I knew it. I love telling that story because I can always tell who grew up in church based on who starts laughing at, you know, I have too. You're like, oh, I read the Bible. I know when they're about to cut a baby in half. I really was triggered by the capital G God in my phone because I have religious trauma. Anybody else have religious trauma? Thought you might. If you don't know what religious trauma means, it just means you grew up in church, you're not religious anymore, but now, anytime you feel good, you feel kind of bad about it. Like, have you ever had a dip in the middle of an orgasm? Like, ha, 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 ha. That dip is Jesus spraying you in the face with a water bottle. That's why I don't say, oh God, during sex. He's like Beetlejuice. He'll show up. And to be clear, I'm not an atheist. I just don't know what happens. Neither do you. Spoiler alert, nobody knows. I've never related to the certainty so many Christians feel, where they're like, I just know. You're like, but how do you know there's a God? I just know. The only time I've ever just known something, it was that I had diarrhea. That's the only time. The only time I've ever been like, oh. And I did start praying. But I resent both sides equally. I hate it when people are like, there's no God, it's just darkness, fuck you. And I hate it when people are like, there is a God and here's his address and he loves me best. I just hate confidence. That's really what it is. I cannot stand it when people are too confident. I have one very confident friend. That's it. That's all I can handle in my life. One friend so confident. You know that hot girl in 8th grade who always came into class late with a Frappuccino and you're like, we get it. Your mom had you on purpose. She's like that. But if any of the relationships that I had had in my 20s had worked out, I would not have my dream job. I would not have the career I've always wanted. And I've had a lot of cool experiences just this year as a result of being on my own. I finally got to do some shows in Europe back in April, which was a dream come true. And because I was single, instead of taking someone I was dating, I took my best friend, Courtney. Courtney's been my best friend since we were 10 years old. 20 years, she's seen me through everything. She saw me through depression in high school. She saw my first stand-up show ever. When I called off an engagement a few years ago, she kept my wedding dress in her attic like it was Jumanji. I'm like, just put this where I can't hear the drums. And she and I got to run around Europe paying for shit with my dick joke money. It was awesome. And it was really special to have her on that trip with me because exactly a year before that, last April, I was alone in a green room in Colorado, pre-show, post some breakup. And I got a call from Courtney. And I was like, hey, I thought you were on vacation with your boyfriend this weekend. And she goes, yeah, no, we are, but I just want to check in and see how you were doing. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. And I talked to her about me for like 10, 15 minutes. And finally I was like, hey, you're not really saying anything about you and your trip. I mean, are you guys okay? And she goes, oh my God, yes. Oh yeah, no, we're great. We're actually, we are actually engaged. And I was like, what? Oh my God, why did you ask about me at all? And she goes, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to make sure that you were in a place where you could hear it. It was so sweet and so hurtful. I have never felt so seen and so insulted in my whole life. Her fiance was there the whole time. Oh, she's like, and then what else? She sounds stable. She sounds like she could handle it. That's how you know your best friends met the one, by the way, when you can no longer get them on the phone alone ever again. You call them late at night crying halfway through the call. They're like, by the way, you don't care that Todd's been here the whole time, right? And you're like, oh my God, no, I actually called to see if Todd thinks I have a yeast infection. So glad Todd is available. And don't get me wrong, I love my best friend's fiance. I think he's an amazing guy. If he died, would a little part of me be like, sleep over? Of course. But I really was so touched that she was thinking about me and my mental health during her engagement that I went out on stage that night and I said, before we start the show, can you guys do me a huge favor? Can we make a video for my best friend who just got engaged? And the crowd's like, yeah. So I got my phone, I put it on selfie mode, and I went 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, Courtney! Me and 2,000 people yelling at her. And I got off stage that night and I texted her to the video to say, hey, I love you. I'm so happy for you. And look at all these people who paid to see me. I'm doing just fine. I have one of Hugh Jackman's gloves. Thank you so much, DC. You are absolutely amazing. I had a parent die really young, so my siblings and I all have really dark senses of humor, right? Like I was talking to my younger sibling, Bryn, recently, because you know how you and your siblings all remember different parts of your childhood? So sometimes you get together and you're like, all right, here's what I remember. What have you got? Okay, let's put this all out on the table and figure out what the fuck happened to us back there. So we were having a puzzle day at home. And I said, do you remember that hospice grief support group we got sent to for kids whose parents had died of cancer? And Bryn goes, oh yeah. Do you remember how not everybody's parents were dead yet? Yes, some of them still had active, I'm just saying, feels like they could have put us in different rooms, right? Maybe do a shirts and skins situation. But no, they were like Christmas present, Christmas future, discuss. Something's coming around the mountain. You know what it is. That's not what I remembered about the group. What I remembered about the group is there was one kid in there whose parent hadn't died. His uncle had died. And, look. I don't want to be a bitch. But, like, our mom was dead. And it just kind of feels like paper covers uncle. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, this kid had parents. He wasn't Spider-Man. Like, some losses affect who you are for the rest of your life, and some are your uncle. Like, what are we? I do think when you have in that joke that I have trouble sleeping, DC, please, for the love of God, do not DM me articles after this show. I know you mean well, but I promise you I've read every sleep article out there. 3 ways how to sleep better. It is the same recycled tips. Over and over and over. Get a light lavender mist to spray on the cold side of your pillow at twilight. What am I, a witch? Make sure it's really dark and quiet in your room at night. Oh my God, it's supposed to be dark? I'm such a dumb bitch. I've been sleeping under a disco ball because vibes. I didn't know. Okay, dark, quiet, check. Fixed. Why not leave your cell phone in a different room at night? Why don't you put your baby outside? This is not to say that I'm against sleep advice. I'm just jaded, you know? I think I feel the way about sleep tips the way a lot of men feel about porn, where I'm like, no, I've seen all the basic stuff. Send me something weird. Now I'm going to ask this question, and let me preface this by saying it's totally okay if nobody has an answer. I ask every audience every night. It's nothing weird. If you think that you have a weird sleep tip that I've never heard of, I've read every article, I've listened to every podcast, I've seen a lot of TikToks. I ask this question to every audience every night of this tour. If you think you have a weird sleep tip that I have never, ever heard of, I would love for you to raise your hand and tell me what that is. That being said, if anybody raises their hand and goes, have you tried the Calm meditation app? I will have you removed. It's okay if no one has one. Does anyone have a weird sleep tip? Oh, we got a confident one right here. What have you got? Masturbate? Bitch, please. You think I haven't tried masturbating? I don't go to sleep, I come to sleep. Next. All right. What else we got? Thanks for playing. All right, what have we got? There's two things. Oh. And I do them in order. Okay. I have to do a handstand against the wall? Okay, yoga. No. This sounds like I need to be hotter for this. I can't. All right. I just want to hear the end. So you do a handstand against the wall. Yeah. Just for a couple seconds. Okay. Yeah, just easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. This is how hot people talk. They're like, just do a handstand for 10 seconds. This is no big deal. You're like, some of us are top heavy. All right. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. And then you sleep upside down. Okay, I haven't heard the handstand part, but I have heard sleep upside down because it changes the bed. Yeah. It confuses your body. Yeah, confuse yourself to sleep. Okay, that's one. I've half heard that one. Okay, so, we'll half give it to you. Anybody else think they have a weird one? Like, really weird? It's okay if nobody does. I'm just curious. Okay, who said woo? All right, do it. What do you got?
Listen to him talk.
Listen to who? Listen to the guy you're with talk? Are you trying to get left? Or are you trying to offload your partner right now? Like, this one's available if he just talks and talks and talks. You fall asleep eventually. This bit right here. Wow, okay. That was fun. We all stepped in a divorce. Wasn't that a good time? That's the first time that's happened when I asked that question. Every night of the tour, never gotten one of those. I can take this boring piece of shit home. All right, this is the last one. What do you got?
Listen to someone's random phone call in the other room. I've listened to my mom have a conversation with my grandma.
You eavesdrop on somebody's phone conversation from the other room? You've listened to your mom talk to your grandma? Did you miss the whole part where I said, I am alone? At least the last girl offered me someone. Have you tried falling asleep to the sound of people who love you in the other room? I would that I could! Okay, well, those hurt my feelings. I'm going to tell you the best one I've heard on this tour. Best one I heard on this tour was a few months ago. There was a woman in the front row. She raised her hand. She goes, I have a weird sleep tip. I said, what do you got? She goes, when I can't sleep, I lay on the floor in the kitchen for 10 minutes. And I was like, okay. And then what happens? She goes, then I get back in bed, I go sleep. This poor girl, abusive parents herself. She's like, oh, you can't. I so appreciate you guys being here. It has been a rough couple years. I got bangs at one point. Shit got dark. I didn't even want bangs. I just needed people to check on me. And it works, by the way. You post a selfie in bangs, everybody's like, fire emoji, you go, girl. Then they text you like, you okay? Here's what I did. I got bangs. And then 2 days later, I did mushrooms for the first time. And as soon as I did those mushrooms, I was like, I should have done these first. Probably wouldn't have gotten these bangs if I forgave myself, huh? But you know what? Having bangs feels exactly like being on mushrooms. The whole time you're just looking at your friends like, do I look weird? You guys would tell me if I looked weird, right? Is it bad different? Is it not good? You know what? I changed my mind. I don't want to do it. It's too late. It's already happening. Okay, no, I can be this person. I turned 30 2 weeks ago. And that means, thank you. And that means that I have spent the last 14 years of my life trying to get good at this, trying to get good at stand-up, trying to have the career that I am now fortunate enough to have. Thanks to all of you, honestly, yeah. And as grateful as I am, and as lucky as I am, it has really made me, this year especially, go, oh no, I don't know if I'm going to be good at this other stuff. I mean, I know I'm a good comedian. I don't know if I'm a good person. I don't know if I'm a good parent. I don't know if I'm a good partner. This hour of material that I'm doing right now, that's like, can I have it all? I don't even know. This is not a bit, DC. I am genuinely concerned. Because I know how hard it is to do this job and be in this business and have a family. I see how hard friends of mine work at it. I also see how little work people put into it. There are a lot of people in this business who are like, you can have kids and travel. They got FaceTime now, which feels like tying your dog up outside a coffee shop and going, I can see him through the window. He's okay. And I still have a lot of childhood shit that I'm working through on my own. I don't want to put that on a kid, right? Like, I was watching a TED Talk recently. Sorry, I was watching a TikTok recently. I always get those confused. The information's still good, it's just vertical. That said, if you have childhood trauma you are still working through as an adult, you need to learn how to parent yourself as a grown-up. So I've been trying to do that in order to heal. I've been trying to parent myself. But I kind of feel like I got pregnant with me in high school. And I was not ready for this responsibility. And now I wake up every morning, totally overwhelmed, trying not to shake me. Like, okay, if I let you watch TikTok on my phone for 30 minutes, will you please stop crying? All my friends are like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I think I have colic. I kept me up all night. I love TikTok. You know what's so funny to me about TikTok? All these kids on TikTok who are like lip syncing and dancing and like pretending they're in a music video, right? We all did that growing up, didn't we? Yeah, like alone in your room in the mirror, hairbrush, of course. But if anyone had walked in on you doing it, you would have killed yourself, right? And these kids are online, like, I hope millions of people see this. It's like, you could benefit from some bullying, I think. Might have overcorrected a bit. But I do have a lot of friends who are getting married and having kids, and, they're condescending as hell. It's so funny how the same girls who used to wake up drunk on train tracks are now like, I don't know how you stay out past 10 p.m. Your lifestyle's really unhealthy. I'm like, I've seen you snort coke off a rusty bike rack. But you keep sniffing that baby's head like we all forgot. But my friends who have kids and are married, like, they complain about their jobs, and I do the same dismissive thing right back to them, where I'm like, well, yeah, but you're married, so you're fine. They're like, yeah, but I'm miserable 60 hours of the week. I'm like, yeah, but you have your dream dick, so you're fine. And it's not great, and I think part of it is that we're all turning 30, and 30 was this age in our heads where we're like, well, by 30, we'll have all our shit together, right? So that kept us going through our 20s. We're like, we're 25, and we're garbage, but in 5 years, we'll have it all figured out. And then you're like, I'm 27, and I'm just a piece of shit, but that I have 3 years to turn this around. And then you're like, okay, I'm 29, crunch time, bitch. And now that we're all 30, we're like, oh shit, our lives are not going exactly as we always pictured them. And so now there's this weird comparing that's going on, this weird tension. Like, I know that all of my friends both pity and envy me. Just like I know that I both pity and envy them, right? I know my friends look at me and go, yeah, I mean, I would probably focus on work if I was all alone. And I go, yeah, I'd probably have a bunch of kids if I had no talent. So we're all... And it's not healthy per se. But I do think it's good to focus on what is going right in your life. I think that that's gratitude. I think that that's important. And it has gotten me through a lot of weddings and baby showers to have my dream job. To sit in the back row like, yeah, whatever. Have your bullshit love party. Hope it works out. I'm still gonna have the coolest job of anybody you know. And that was true until somebody married an astronaut. And everybody's so impressed. I guess astronaut beats everything. They're like, you gotta admit, Taylor, that's the coolest job. And I'm like, oh, he's gotta wear a costume or he'll die? Fuck off. That's a dumb job. Now, if I can't breathe somewhere, I don't go there, Dan. That's just science. Dan hasn't even been to space, you guys. He just goes to work and practices space. That's his job. He goes in, they put him in a roller coaster ride. They're like, don't throw up. He's like, you got it, Captain. What a hero. 6. Okay, like 6:30. Do you have time to feel abandoned and worthless? Okay, 6:30 in the parking lot. It's a date. I love you so much. You're doing a great job at work. Bye. That's never happened to me once. Every feeling I have demands to be felt immediately. Every feeling I have demands its own parade. Every feeling I have just turns into that scene from Aladdin where he's pretending to be a prince. It's like, OMG, Taylor's hungry. This could get dicey. Needs a sandwich. Now she's a bitch. Take it from me. But I'm glad I've had this year to work on this stuff because I needed it. Not as queer in the last couple of years. And, oh, thank you. Thank you. That's really nice of you. Because let me tell you, coming out as bisexual at 30 feels like saying to a waiter, by the way, it's my birthday. And they're like, cool, sing to yourself. You're a grown woman, so. You're like, excuse me, I was very brave. I just came out. They're like, yeah, but the coast was clear, wasn't it, babe? Like, I would have come out sooner, but I have 3 younger siblings, and they're all queer, and they kept coming out. They just kept popping out like little groundhogs. And every time another one popped out, I was like, well, that's 6 more months of heterosexuality for me, I guess. I was also hesitant to come out as bisexual because there's a stigma around it, right? When you say you're bisexual, a lot of people assume that you are good at sex. And I'm not, guys. And I refuse to get better. All right? I'm not learning any more tricks, okay? I turned 30, I was like, shut it down. As Jesus said, it is finished. I'm hitting save progress. I'm going to die on this level. But I didn't want to tarnish the brand of bisexuality. I didn't want to bring down the team. I have so many queer friends who are so open and free with their sexualities. It's like, oh, it's so fun. I have so many like Samanthas in my friend group, and they're so fun and inspiring. But I also think we need some gay prude representation as well. I can't sleep. You know, some kids don't have beds, right? Why don't you go lay face down on the cold tile for 10 minutes, see if you're not more grateful after that? And you know what, DC? I tried it and it works. It totally works. I do it on the bathroom floor in hotel rooms. I've had COVID many times, but I want to get a handle on my anxiety because I know if I didn't have anxiety, I'd be a totally different person. The worrying alone takes up so much mental and emotional energy every day. And it doesn't help. It doesn't prepare you for anything bad happening like you think it will. I told my therapist this recently. I go, I know worrying doesn't do any good, right? I go, what's that one quote by that great philosopher? When you worry, you just suffer twice. She goes, I don't know that one. Who said it? I looked it up. It's from a fucking Harry Potter prequel. I was so confident, I Googled it in front of her. She's like, what philosopher said that? I'm like, Newt Scamander? Shit. I think it was a fortune cookie. Can we just move on? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Without anxiety, I'd have a totally different personality because so many decisions I make in life are fear-based, or though so many decisions I don't make are fear-based. I watch the same shows and movies over and over because it calms me down. I know what to expect. It doesn't stress me out. I date the same type of person over and over because I know what to expect. It doesn't stress me out. If you think you have a type, you don't. You have anxiety. See someone. I have 3, and I was trying to think of positive things that came out of me growing up in church. And the most positive thing, I can't believe I didn't think of sooner, I started doing stand-up in churches. That's how I started doing this. They called it testimony, but I was getting laughs. And No, I really did. I started doing stand-up when I was 16 years old, and for the first, 4 or 5 years of my career, I was performing in a lot of churches. If you don't know, in America, you can make a living as a church comedian. You can tour churches even bigger than this, 4,000 or 5,000 seats, and make a great living that way. And when I was 21, I had to decide, am I going to go the church comedian route, or am I going to go the secular comedian route? And I think you know what I picked. But I am so grateful to have that as my foundation for my stand-up career. I mean, I got so much professional stage time in front of thousands of people. I got paid. I learned how to work clean and perform in any room. And I think about that a lot. I'm so grateful for it. And I know a lot of you are probably sitting there right now going, well, that's nice. It's cute that you're grateful, Taylor. And we get what you're doing with the church and everything. But we've seen your stuff now. And there's no way you could perform in church